compare and contrast here to here a little bit. Let's just do circulation, all right? What does the red indicate?
Veins,
Arteries.
arteries,
Capillary.
blood, flow,
Say it? Just oxygenated blood. What does blue indicate? What does purple indicate?
Mix.
Okay. Let's begin going through the heart. Excuse me. What vessels? Okay, give me a definition of an artery.
Flow away from the heart.
Vein.
Brings blood back to the heart.
Capillary.
Change between veins.
Exchange. All right. Let's start with coming back to the right side of the heart. Name these vessels that are bringing blood back to the heart.
Superior vein.
superior vena cava,
And
That's superior.
superior,
into the
Right atrium.
right atrium passes this valve,
Tricuspid.
gets into the
Right
Ventricle.
through this valve,
Pulmonary semilunar valve.
Semilunar valve.
into the
Pulmonary tract.
which divides beneath the aortic arch into the
Left and right pulmonary veins.
arteries. And what color are they? So this is one of the main exceptions to the fact that most of the time arteries will be oxygenated. And that's this here. This major artery is completely deoxygenated. Probably the least amount of oxygen is in the body is in the pulmonary arteries. And then chapter 15 will teach you all what happens in the lungs. So we're going to kind of bypass that for now and come back with these four structures.
Pulmonary veins.
Pulmonary veins, the highest oxygenation status is probably next to the lungs in the pulmonary veins. Coming back into the,
Left atrium.
through the,
Bicuspid.
Tricuspid.
you always try before you,
Bicuspid.
into the,
left ventricle,
okay, you can see it here through the, you can see it when you guys come around and turn this over, into the,
aorta,
no, ascending aorta. And the ascending aorta gives off two branches.
Left and right.
Coronary arteries, which are visible here. Then we got the arch, in order. Let's name the branches. First branch off the aortic arch. Shake your head.
I remember you.
I forgot.
No, that was off the ascending. Now we're in the arch, this guy.
Brachial
Brachiocephala,
something.
which becomes the right common carotid and right subclavian. The middle branch, though, left common carotid. The last branch, left subclavian. Left subclavian passes through the armpit, and we now call it the,
Axillary,
when it passes ahead of the humerus, we now call it the
radial, or no, the
brachial.
brachial,
Okay, in the cubital space, it divides into a
radial,
ulnar. There'll be a arcuate branch that gives off intercarpal, and then phalangeal branches. Now, let's do the lower extremities. As the aorta gets behind the heart, it descends as the, but in this area it's called the, in the chest we would call it the thoracic aorta. When it gets through this muscle that's also in the cat,
diaphragm,
it gets a new name.
Abdominal.
Where it comes in about the iliac crest, it divides into a external and internal, name for the hip, iliac. The external iliac continues. When it passes ahead of the femur, it gets a new name. When it gets behind the knee, or to the level of the knee, it gives off three branches. The one behind the knee, the one in the back of the leg, the one in front of the leg, which continues, and on top, after it passes the ankle bit, it's now called the dorsalis pedis. Okay? These are the lateral plantar, look ahead and do that. And then intermetatarsal and interphalangeal branches. That's systemic circulation. Some of these arteries come close to the surface, they're arterial points, but they're always considered deep. Veins. Veins have how many systems? Superficial and deep. So on this model, and in the body, most of the time, the vein, the deep veins, with few exceptions, have the name of the deep artery. So for instance, name this vein.
Iliac vein.
This would be the left external iliac vein. This would be the left internal iliac vein. This would be the left common iliac vein. Name that.
abdominal
Abdominal.
This is the IVC. This is into inferior vena cava. So this is the exception. The abdominal aorta is accompanied by the IVC. All right. Name this branch again. Middle branch off the arch. Left.
Common
Common.
carotid.
Carotid. Name this vein.
Jugular.
Common jugular vein. Got a superficial D. So again, an exception. The jugular accompanies the carotid. And these were opposite in oxygenation. Final thing with the venous side, it's a double system, so we have superficial deep. The deep veins, as mentioned, with few exceptions, are named for the accompanying artery. The superficial veins have completely different names, and on this plot, they're flat. The deep veins tend to be thick. See that? Like bold. 1, 2, 3 superficial veins here. 1, 2 superficial veins. Name that superficial vein that goes around the shoulder. Cephalic. Around the inside of the arm. Basilic. They meet inside the elbow as the median cubital vein. This is called the dorsal venous arch. That's the right upper extremity. Right lower extremity. The longest vein in the body goes from your ankle to your hip. You recording me?
Huh?
You recording me? Or you just greater saphenous. This is the greater saphenous vein
That's the longest vein?
of the body. Coming on the opposite, the lateral surface. This vein actually would have ended at the knee. They stopped it. This is the lesser saphenous. These are superficial. How do they communicate with the deep veins? Perforating. What do they call blood vessels that feed blood vessels?
Annual?
Vasovascular. Vasovascular. All right, so that's start to work on this. Realize that in time you'll need to know these other branches as we cover these other bodies' cavities. That's mainly what I've covered today. Is what I would expect you to know from this week. In future weeks, you'll know that this is the splenic artery. These are the renal arteries. And that's a hepatic artery. And this here's the inferior mesenteric artery, and so on. And that's a gonadal artery. But for now, we're going to limit it to the more straightforward stuff. All right? And then you've got the heart. See you in a little bit. All right, you guys.